I asked myself this question yesterday. I went to bed with that thought of the drive home. Why, man? Why did we do that? And then today I wake up and I'm feeling I feel no different. Why did we do that?
Just going to have a crack. He is, you know. Oh, I say! Brilliant! That is schoolboy's own stuff. Oh, I bet even he can't believe it.
Good morning to you all. Welcome to this Good Morning Tottenham Away episode, guys. I hope you all well. I'm going to level with you lot, man. I've woken up. I thought a good night's sleep may have brought a different mindset or different thought process in regards to last night's game. And I was driving home yesterday from the watch-along, and in my head, the whole time, all I kept thinking was, why? Why, man? Why? Just why? Every outcome that I could possibly think of is why? Why would we do that? Why? And I've woken up this morning thinking about last night's match, and I'm still asking those same questions as to why. Why would we compromise this cup competition? Risk so much, and the reward for it's not like you risk all of this, but the reward is huge. Risked a lot for what? What do we get out of it? The hardest part for me, because listen, at the end of the day, we drew 1-1, we lost on penalties, even with the B team. We've all everybody online and everybody with a YouTube channel and have spoken of their discontent of the 9 changes, which I can't listen from kickoff. From as soon as those teams were announced, I was worried about it, and I said so, and I said it. But trying to defend that at the end of this is the bit we can accept. I tried something new. I want to have a look at a few players. I got it wrong. Hold your hands up. You're not dealing with idiots. You're not speaking to idiots. And this is the thing that I'm struggling with the most, because I feel like I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel in that post-match conversation that was spoken to like an idiot. And that's the part that gets me the most about all of this. I can accept listen, we all make mistakes. I can accept that. But to then come back and just come out and justify and saying, well, how else am I going to know? How else am I going to see, these guys deserve a time? How else am I going to, value these players if I don't give them a chance? For me, it's unforgivable. That the explanation, more than the team selection, for me, is what gets my gripe this morning. Because you're trying to justify that selection, and it's not justifiable. The same way, once you've made that team selection on the back of saying, we go out and try and win every game. You go out by trying to win every game by putting 9 of those 11 players in that team, and then you make the first change at half-time, take Lo Celso off to try and put Scarlett on, with all due respect. Yeah, Lo Celso's substitution is more than justified. He wasn't playing well. He could have made 4 or 5 changes at half-time. But the first substitute you want to go and play, if you're going to play Scarlett, play him from the start at least. Play him from the start. You've made 9 changes, make 10. Make 10, put Scarlett in from the start. And then at half-time, you start making us... Listen, I said the minimum at half-time, the minimum substitution should have been made was 2. Minimum. But you could have put 3, 4, 5. You could have put all of them on. But I said at half-time, we have to make at least 2 substitutes. At least. To try and kickstart the second half. Try and realise that realising after 45 minutes, it's not working. change it up. And the first substitute you put in Scarlett. How you gonna go and play a kid in that scenario, in a match of that importance, in a team that's already been completely overhauled? It's an improvised team. I've only seen those amount of changes in a team from the start. In two scenarios, in a pre-season match, when you're really trying to evaluate everyone, seeing them for the first time, or in a meaningless game where you're through the group stages and you're already through to the next round of the Europa or Champions League, and you think, you know what, this is a game, but we don't really care for it. Then you make the changes to rest everyone. To do it so early on in a cup competition where you know that this is a big chunk of our season here. And I feel like yesterday we just threw it down. We just threw it away. It felt like we threw the game away. But I say beyond that, to then try and justify it in a post-match conversation, in a post-match interview, to say that, what you did, on the back of what we had to witness. Now, I'm not throwing... I'm angry with Ange because he tried to justify his selection more than the actual selection itself, which was bad enough as it was. But then trying to justify it, I don't know, man. I don't know. Up until that point, I believed in everything he's tried to do. I believed in everything that he's trying to achieve, what he's doing with the players, the way he's trying to do things. And I'm sure in games to come, we'll go back. Now we have to go back to our first 11. So I'm sure this scenario can only arise again when the FA Cup starts. That's the only time. Making a mistake once, strike one, it can happen and we accept it. We have to move on from it. But if this happens again in the FA Cup back in January, which is a hell of a long time to even be speaking about it from now, I'll start asking questions, big time questions. And also, this is a theme now that's recurring with all the managers in the way they approach the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup games. It's an ongoing theme. It's like you have to accept that this is what how we're gonna approach FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Like we don't care, or if we do care about it, like Jose did, going all the way to the final, it's going to cost him his job. I don't understand, guys. I'm struggling. Why, man? Why? Pointing the fingers at the board. Listen. You guys know how I feel about it. I'm not even going to get into that. But if this is a common theme happening, there's a link between it all, man. There's a link between it all. There's a link between Nuno's, the Jose's, and the Conte, and the Pochettino, and now Ange Postecoglou, in how we approach and go into the cup games. There's a theme into it. Now, we can read into it, or we don't, or we choose to ignore. I'm not choosing to ignore. I know. I can feel it. I feel it. I don't know for facts, but I can feel it. But there's a growing theme in how we go into these cup games. Every year with different managers, the same outcome. What is it that we needed to see in Sanchez? What is it that I needed to see in Davis? What is it that I needed to see in Skip, in Højbjerg, even Richarlison? What is it that I need to see? Perisic, Solomon, have they done enough to take Son and Kulusevski out of the team? Even with Son and Kulusevski, who people criticise for they're not even like got into it the season and saying, we're really going into give Solomon a chance, give Perisic for what? Give what a chance? Give what you got to look at? Have you not seen the differences between the levels? Even the Perisic, even with Kulusevski not at his best, even with Son not at his best, the technical levels between the first and the second string players is enormous, which is why you should never gamble. Never gamble when the percentages are telling you that you're going to lose this battle with these players. The B team is not anywhere near the level of the A team, and you shouldn't gamble playing in a cup competition where you're in and out after 90 minutes. In or out, that's it. If you really want to evaluate them in the league, at least then you've got other league games. You can make up the points along the way. Should you lose points because you play those players? What? Because the transfer market is closing in a few days' time. This is the last game against Fulham to play these lot. Play them against Bournemouth then. We'll lose points against Bournemouth. But we can make up for those points. At least we would have seen the answers then. Play your first team in the cup games. But we don't prioritise the cup games. It's a clear theme that's happening year after year after year. Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Colchester when we played under Pochettino. But at least then we had the the Champions League. You had the European football. But this year we ain't got no European football. The domestic cups is our European football this year. It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating, and I'm, like I said, the whole time today, why? I asked myself this question yesterday. I went to bed with that thought of the drive home. Why, man? Why did we do that? And then today I wake up and I'm feeling exactly, I feel no different. Why did we do that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment and subscribe. Speak to you soon, guys.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.